Long Beach falls on back-to-back nights, but last night at least was an entertaining one. 12-10, the Paddleheads take it in a contest with 3 lead changes. Welcome into Saturday night on the Beach Ball pregame report. Jesse Cook with you, Joey Miller to my right. And Joey, oh boy, did it look like Long Beach had that one in the bag after the Matthew Bardowell bomb.
And it was kind of a different look, too, from the first 3 nights. I'd say last night was probably the first night that I at least saw some optimism in this team. It seemed like the offense was dragging the first 3 games. The offense certainly wasn't last night. Heading into that game 4, the series batting average was just at 267. Now it's at 307, a 16-hit game and a 40-point batting average bump. So I think heading into this weekend, sure, they're behind 3-1. All they can do is tie it if they win out. But I feel like there's a bit more of a sense of optimism in this team now.
Well, absolutely. A game where you slugged 2 home runs, more than you had during the first 3 games of the series. That's bound to do wonders, especially against a Missoula team that's 4th in the Pioneer League in batting average at 334. It's felt like the Paddleheads have been limited this week. However, last night in the 9th inning, they were anything but.
Yeah, Zach Volker, in his first time in 11 opportunities, gives up the first earned run and a couple more, unfortunately, that allows the Missoula Paddleheads to take the late and final lead of the game. Taubensee, as he has done now 3 times in the series, strikes out the side, allows a hit. They got a solid closer, I will say.
Oh, yeah.
And he has been on top of it, especially in those close scenarios where it looked like that late Matthew Bardowell home run was going to give that push, that final push that they needed. Zach Volker heading in to just close things out, but unfortunately it did not go their way.
Not quite. Missoula scores 3 runs to come from behind, a 1-run deficit in the 9th inning, and ends up winning the ballgame. Long Beach has not been out-hit in this series, though. Even last night at 16-16, even the night before at 6-6, Long Beach winning the hitting battle on Tuesday and Wednesday as well. Now, Volker, league leader in saves with 18. Matthew Taubensee, only 8, but 2 of them coming this week. So Long Beach has been limited in the late frames. It looked like the Regulators might have their 6th win of the season when trailing entering the 8th inning. Not meant to be. But you know what? The offense did still show out. It wasn't just the Matthew Bardowell long ball, but Cuba Bess also earned a much-needed homer once again, also climbing up to 100 RBIs on the season.
Yeah, the first in Long Beach Coast history to do so. It's his first home run since August 2nd, and it was a no-doubter, an absolute Cuban missile over towards the scoreboard.
No crisis, though.
No crisis, at least right now. And just to see certain players who have been struggling in the hit category, Benjamin Rosengard gets a 4-hit night, Matthew Bardowell a 3-hit night. Hits were not the problem. Getting on base was not the problem. And this time getting runners across was not the problem necessarily. 10 on the game and a few multiple inning rallies late in that game. But what was really good to see was 4 straight innings where they provided a little bit of run support for Nick Bautista. It wasn't much, just 1 apiece from the 2nd through the 5th inning. But it's what kept them above just before that 7-run inning that kind of made things go the way of Missoula after that.
That's right. Sustained offense for Long Beach has definitely been tough to come by, but last night it came through. Now, we talked to Cuba Bess earlier about what's been going right for him and some Little League memories. By the way, it's Sublime Night at the ballpark, so you've heard what we've got. Now hear what Cuba Bess has. Cuba Bess, you almost hit your own face on the scoreboard yesterday, leading the team now with 23 home runs. What's been working well?
Really just like honing in on my approach and getting pitches that I can handle in the zone over the middle of the plate. That's really just the key, just trying to be on time and seeing something over the heart of the plate I can drive.
Last week, fellow catcher Johnny Pappas told us that you guys learn a lot from each other. What types of lessons are you imparting to your teammates?
Just basically what I've learned throughout my time in college and in pro ball. It's really just, feeding off of each other, bouncing ideas off of each other and saying, hey, maybe this will work better, maybe this will work, and just like telling the guys and explaining like what I've learned and like what's worked for me, what hasn't worked for me. It's just, everyone's their own player, so not everything's going to work for everybody. So when you have, the guys that we do and with the experience that everyone has, it's nice to feed off each other and just throw ideas back and forth.
And how do those conversations translate into hitting for you?
Really, it's just keeping it simple. You can talk about everything in the world, when it comes to hitting and all that stuff. But the more simple you keep hitting, the better chances of success you're going to have.
And the Little League World Series is going on right now. What are some of your favorite memories from being that small, dreaming about playing at this level?
Just being able to throw a professional uniform on and, accomplishing, a lifelong goal and a dream that, I've always had. And, when you're that small, when you're 10, 11, 12 years old, it's all about having fun and, playing the game hard. And sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that when you're at this level. But at the end of the day, it's still just a game. So we just have to come out here and, have fun and play the game hard, like we're little kids, because, at the end of the game, they call it a kid's game.
And how cool is it for you when you have, say, those kids who are dreaming of being in your shoes in the stands, asking for your autograph after the game, especially a game like yesterday where you tattoo the baseball off the scoreboard?
Yeah, it's a good feeling. I definitely remember being that age and, seeing games like this and saying like, I want to be that guy, when I'm their age. And, at the end of the day, we're also doing this for them to inspire them. So, that's what it's all about.
And lastly, I know my broadcast partner, Joey, his mom sent some snacks to the team, little candy baseball bracelets. What were some of your favorite foods to eat during the dugout or between tournament games when you were growing up?
Usually just a sandwich and some chips with a Gatorade, something pretty simple. Maybe like a sweet treat here and there, like a Snickers bar or something, to kind of get that blood sugar flowing and, to get picked back up for game number 2.
I remember that was the orange Gatorade for me. Always got me rehydrated for baseball. Thanks, Cuba. Little League memories, Little League snacks, courtesy of Carol Miller.
Yes. By the way, happy birthday to my mom, who turned 69 just this past Tuesday. And she's hoping, just like the rest of you Coast fans, that this team can get back to where they once were maybe just a couple weeks ago. Right now, like I said just before the Cuba Bass interview, there seems to be a newfound optimism with this team. They finally started to find a rhythm with their offense. Defensively, they've looked great, 8 double plays this series, so the pitchers are starting to trust their defense again. And I think, hopefully, if that heads into tonight, it could possibly lead to a positive result, maybe with these new lucky bracelets.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see how many guys are wearing them on the field. I have a sneaking suspicion they may be eaten by the time the game starts.
Who knows?
Candy bracelets, they look really good. I'm hoping I might be able to snag one. I think they're still in the clubhouse right now.
They might be gone.
They might be. But Little League memories tied in with the bracelets there. Hey, maybe the Regulators today can take some inspiration from the Little League news across the country and all over the world. How about a pair of no-hitters yesterday? Curacao, no hits Japan. There are some happy families looking on as their team gets the job done. Iowa does the same to California. Oh, look at this celebration. That is one happy kid. He hit the home run to throw them ahead, but also the Pioneer League. There was some history. There's Tyler Gannis of Ogden. Joey, 7 hits in 8 at-bats.
Yeah, and that sets not just the modern era record for most hits in a game, it sets the all-time Pioneer League record. They've been at it since 1964, keeping track of these stats. It was tied at 6 for quite some time. Brett Tanos, Ryan Leahy, Sean Rodriguez, and Seth Smith all had 6 hits in a single game. The last 3 in 2004. And actually, some fun news, I guess, today is that today is also some history for me. Thank you, by the way, for this. 200 broadcasts in the professional level, 2 years with the Grizzlies, one with Grand Junction Jackalopes last year. But, again, it's not about me. I really just hope that this team, maybe who may figure out soon that this is a little bit of a milestone for me, can get a win.
Well, congratulations, Joey. 200 games. That's no small feat.
No, and it was not easy to get here, but I'm very grateful for the people who have helped me along the way, including yourself.
Thank you.
I've known you now for a couple of years, and it's been a really great thing to finally get to work with you rather than against you, because we have been for a bit of rivalry teams with
That's true.
The Vibes and the Jackalopes, and then the year before that the Florence Yalls and the Gateway Grizzlies. So now we get to combine efforts for what has been a really magical summer.
Well, for reference, the Pioneer League season is 96 games, so 2 years in the Pioneer League would not cover all 200 broadcasts if you were on every single game. So congrats, Joey. And I know you're a huge fan of the music scene here in Long Beach, so I figured we'd take a different vibe, divert from the normal baseball interview, because you know what today is.
It's Sublime Night.
It is Sublime Night, and so we've got Don't Push waiting on standby to play some fantastic music throughout this game, afterwards, also some during the pre-show for the fans who get here early, but we also got a sneak peek at what they can do, so take a listen. I got Don't Push with me here, so first, Brody.
Yep.
Kenny, I know you got Dan joining you later, but how exciting is it for you guys to be playing in front of a live crowd at a baseball game of all things?
I grew up playing baseball. It's pretty cool. We played at some baseball stadiums, but never during a game. So we're going to play before and after. So I'm kind of a little nervous, but I think it's going to go pretty good. Hopefully the big crowd shows up.
Yeah, man, I love it. It's going to be awesome, dude. Let's go.
And why Sublime? Why play this music?
Well, we started out playing together like in '96, and Sublime was one of the bands. Yes, Sublime was one of the bands that we would cover right away from the beginning. So that's how kind of we got, to learn our instruments. And after all these years, we're still playing it, and then we just started learning all the Sublime songs, and now we're doing Sublime Tribute Band.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's from our age. It's a formidable band. We grew up listening to Sublime in high school, and then it's a natural thing.
And I know you guys are from Anaheim, but Kenny, did I hear you were born here in Long
I
Beach?
was born in Long Beach Memorial. Shout out.
Not true. Not true. I got to see the birth certificate.
Are you
That's the first time I heard it. Yeah, first time.
I'll show you. I'll show you the documents, doc.
So how cool is it for you guys to be playing a band from Long Beach is music and be from this area, a half hour about?
Well, we love Sublime, and this is where they're from, and hopefully, I know everyone here loves Sublime, so it should be a good, fun show today.
It feels natural. It feels like we're at home.
Yeah,
And did you know that what I got is the Long Beach Coast wind song?
we just heard that.
that,
We might play it. We might play it tonight. We're not sure.
Hey, man, we better win tonight, right?
We better win.
Well, I'm excited to watch the teams play. I'm also excited to hear you guys. Can we hear maybe like a short sample of what you got going for us?
Yeah, we don't got our bass player here, so we're gonna do a little Sublime acoustic jam right now. Boston
Love it.
Bass. There's a steel train coming through. I would take it if I could, and I would not lie to you, because Sunday morning soon will come when things can be much easier to say. Upon the microphone like I'm a boss DJ, but I will walk up upon the seat like it was Charlie. A boss DJ ain't nothing but a man, no trouble, no fuss. What's up, Dan? We're jamming without you. You got us on camera right now. It's so nice. I wanna hear the same song twice. It's so nice. I wanna hear the same song twice. You're my banner of my town, but it's the stones and sticks. On the microphone is where I go to get my fix. Just let the love it take a hold, 'cause it's real if you let it. A funky night is junky, but I know where to get it. No trouble, no fuss. I know why. It's so nice. I wanna hear the same song twice. It's so nice. I wanna hear the same song twice. Ooh, ooh, girl. Ooh, 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 So Mr. DJ, don't stop the music. I wanna know, are you feeling the same way too? Run around with you, girl. Ooh, girl. Ooh. Oh, yeah, girl. Nowadays, the songs on the radio all drive me crazy. Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop because it's so nice. Thank you.
Well, forget the wrong way. That was definitely the right way for Sublime. I love that. And just one last thing. I know you've got your family here. We heard Sam perform Zombie by the Cranberries. Is any more of that in store?
Yeah, she may or may not play that song tonight, depending on the crowd. If the crowd wants to hear a 9-year-old sing, then we're going to do it.
Well, we already heard this song once, but I want to hear the same song twice. So thank you, guys. Well, that was a lot of fun listening to Don't Push play live, and they're going to be following up the game with another concert like they just had for us and for the fans walking through the gate earlier than everyone else. Long Beach looking for a sublime finish to this series, but to do so, the Regulators need to sweep the Paddleheads on Saturday and Sunday night, Joey.
Yeah, and aside from Don't Push, the Regulators were going to try to push across for the next two potential victories and tie up this series. Right now they're behind 1-3 now, losing the last two. The Paddleheads have clinched already just to tie the series, and now Nathan Hemmerling is going to take the bump and try and get back to work for the Long Beach Regulators in back-to-back nights. Tonight they'll be in their black jerseys. Last night in their white jerseys for the 7th time. It was the first time they lost in those pinstripes. Total on the season, 19-6 record in the alternate Long Beach Regulators identity. It's the penultimate game of this 12-game homestand that kicks off the month of August. It's the only homestand in the month of August, and the next time we'll see you after Sunday is the final week against the Modesto Roadsters on the very first week of September. But it is Sublime Night, like you mentioned. The Dalmatians are out here. There's going to be a Dalmatian beauty pageant, I believe. And, you know, I ain't got no crystal ball, but LBC is looking to make the living easy, or easier than it's been in the past homestand, where they have now dropped 6 of their past 10 games. Here's the defense for the Long Beach Coast, rather now the Regulators tonight. Eddie Pelk in left, Emilio Corona in center, Matthew Bardwell in right. Benjamin Rosengard, a 4-hit day. He's back at third. Spence Kaufman back in the starting lineup at shortstop. Jacob Jablonski at second. Cooper Vest to end out the right side of the infield. Johnny Pappas catching Nathan Hemmerling. And Hemmerling is now the reigning Pioneer League Pitcher of the Week after a fantastic outing against Oakland just this past series, just this past weekend, about a week ago. He went 6 innings, gave up no runs and only 3 hits, and now he'll face off against Enzo Apodaca and miss outside for ball 1 of this game that starts a minute ahead of schedule. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you're tuned in from. The 1-0 to Apodaca misses low again. So he's staying patient right now on the series. 3 for 17, 1 for 5 line yesterday. That won the game tire in the top of the 6th, an RBI double that started off a 7-run rally. Now he puts a drive into center field. Emilio Corona makes the grab for out number 1.
Well, I like Hemmerling's rhythm early on. Yeah, his first 2 pitches missed, but he didn't let the pitch clock get very far. When your team is struggling, the most important thing you can do is find a routine.
Hemmerling has sure made it look routine on the mound, especially when it comes to strikeouts. He leads the team with 84. That's 5th in the Pioneer League. Just in the last 5 starts, he's had 37 Ks. That's about 8 per game, and there's a line drive for the first hit of the game by Nick Klemp, who has been a menace this series thus far, getting his 7th hit there of 20 at-bats, including 3 home runs, 2 last night, and the most recent one was the go-ahead, the first lead for the Missoula Paddleheads. They eventually lost that lead in the 8th, came back in the top of the 9th, and took Game 4. Bryce Sermonelli now to the plate. He's the third baseman, batting from the left side. And he has a runner at first with 1 out. The pitch from Hemmerling sent in the air towards center field. Corona has to range back into left center, makes the grab just about 5 feet shy of the warning track. Out number 2 recorded. Just 5 pitches, 2 outs, 1 hit. Xavier Casarilla now to the plate yesterday. An impressive line, 4 for 6. After starting off this series in the first 3 games, 1 for 10. Got the go-ahead 2-run double in the top of the 9th. That punched across what the Paddleheads needed to get off of Zach Volker, who gave up his first couple of earned runs in 11 appearances. Takes ball 1. Hemmerling fires to the plate, and Casarilla sends one just past his manager, Michael Schlacht. Michael Schlacht, who was ejected from last night's game in the top of the 8th. Over balls and strikes. Right now, speaking of umpires, Pete Saucedo behind the plate. Jordan Shepard at first. Max Ponce, the crew chief, at third. Currently Ponce behind the mound with a runner at first. Line drive into right field. That's going to get through. Station to station, and it gets past Bardowell for an error. Here comes the runner to the plate, Nick Klemp. The throw in is not made, and the Paddleheads get on top here, 1-0. Xavier Casarilla at second on the single, then the error. That drives in the run on 2 outs. Just rolled under the glove of Matthew Bardowell. It's the 4th time in the first 5 games where Missoula has taken the lead first.
And unfortunately for Bardowell, it's the 2nd time we've seen a play like that in the past week.
Hemmerling will try and bounce back here on Tai Yukamoto. He gets a ground ball in the dirt to Jablonski on the right side and over to first for out number 3. So some trouble early, but the Regulators will try and get back into motion the way they were last night when they scored 12. We'll be right back on the Regulators Media Network. Bottom of the 1st, and the Paddleheads up first in game 5 of 6. Joey Miller, Jesse Cook, and now Thomas Reisinger will take the mound. the 5th starter of the week for Michael Schlack's Missoula PaddleHeads, trying to make a bid for the 2026 playoffs, in which the Long Beach Coast / Regulators have already entered. Missoula now 24-10. They got their 10th loss of the season just 3 nights ago. Thomas Reisinger is a bit of a different story. This is his 16th start. He's got a 3-5 record, 8.15 ERA, and 69 strikeouts. Eddie Pelk will take the plate first here, as he normally does. This being his 80th game of the season. 60 of his prior 79, he has had a hit. Takes outside for ball 1. And for Reisinger, this is a bit of a different look for the Long Beach Regulators, because this is the first starter that we've seen that has a little bit higher velo on his fastball. He's a fastball-dominant pitcher. 1-0, a called strike on that 92-mile-per-hour fastball. Usually, these batters have been seeing anywhere around 87 to 89, and it's messed with the timing. So perhaps this could be a good sign for Long Beach to have another night like last night. They had 16 hits last night.
And another thing is that they've really struggled since coming down out of the mountain region against curveball-dominant pitchers, because the pitches break more than they're used to. So a fastball pitcher might be more what they're accustomed to.
There's a fastball called strike, dotted on the corner. A 2-2 count for Eddie Pelk. And the curveball is Reisinger's second pitch, by the way. He does use them interchangeably. 2-2. On the ground. Soft to the second baseman ball for out number 1. Let's get you the defense right now for the visiting Paddleheads. It's Yukamoto in left field, Kazuski in center, Apodaca in right. It's pretty standard from what we've seen all series long. Bryce Sermonelli at third. Will Bermudez and Michael Ball, like you just saw there, they're both up the middle. Xavier Casarilla at first. And Sergio Gutierrez back in the starting lineup to catch Reisinger. First pitch to Bardowell. Fouled back towards the on-deck circle of the Paddleheads. For strike 1, Bardowell with the big blast last night in the 8th inning. His first of August, his third of the second half, now 13 on the season. Prior to this season, in collegiate or otherwise, any other level, he had not had double-digit home runs in a single season. Now pops one up in the infield. Bermudez fighting the sun. He might not see it. Makes a last-minute bid and gets out number 2. Here's Cuba Bass, who very similarly to Matthew Bardowell sent one out last night and his first in quite some time, since August 2nd. His 23rd on the season. He still leads the team. Had a couple RBI last night. Now 100 on the season. He's the first in Long Beach history to reach triple-digit ribbies. First pitch misses outside by Reisinger. And what's even crazier about that is that last night there was also a big RBI record in the league. Sam Canton getting his 131st on the season, which breaks the all-time Pioneer League record. Pitch misses outside. There's a check swing. They refer down to Max Ponce, who says that Cuba Best did not go around. Righty on lefty matchup. And a 2-0 count with 2 outs and nobody on. 1-0 Paddleheads. 2-0 delivered on a fastball that's swung through and miss. A little late movement cutting outside. Arm side run by Reisinger. Gets his first strike on Bess from the full. Feet facing towards his first third base dugout. There's the breaking ball. And it's a called strike just at the knees. That curveball right around 86, which was the typical speed of a changeup or a fastball that they've seen in the first 4 pitchers of this series. Tomorrow they're expected to see the first pitcher that they saw, Brendan Beard.
Should be going against Matthew O'Brien, who, of course, has been fantastic for the Regulators all throughout his rookie year in a starting role.
Cuba Bass out of Fruita, Colorado. Has a full count and 2 outs. Here's the payoff pitch. Slapped on the ground to the right side. Ball waits on it. Gets it to first in time for a clean 1-2-3 shutdown inning by Reisinger. Into the second we go, still 1-0 Paddleheads when we come back on the Regulators Media Network. Into the second we go. Nathan Hemmerling back on the bump. And right now the advantage for the Paddleheads, who took an unearned run from Hemmerling in the top of the first. And in 13 pitches, Thomas Reisinger sets down the first 3 for the Regulators. Sergio Gutierrez steps up to the plate first and takes the pitch outside for ball 1. The catcher, who started in the first game of this series, since come off the bench a couple of times, takes inside for a called strike 1 on the fastball. Gutierrez, his 3rd year in indie ball, bouncing around now 3 of the main 4 MLB Partner League teams. Sends a surge down the right field line, hooking foul, and luckily for Hemmerling, getting foul for strike 2. He's 1 for 7 on this series, 4 Ks. Got a hit in his first at-bat of the series. That was an RBI double in the top of the second on Tuesday. And a 3-1 victory that led off this series against the Paddleheads. 1-2. Swing and a miss on a beautiful breaking ball. Hemmerling gets strikeout number 1 on the night. When that breaking ball works well, it works really well because Hemmerling leads the team for a reason, that being his 85th on the season. Climbing the ladder, there's been 1 pitcher so far in this season that has reached 100 Ks. And that person is Omar Serrano, who they'll see next week. Pop fly on the first pitch to Michael Ball in shallow right field. Jablonski called off by Matthew Bardowell for out number 2. Bardowell had the forward momentum in, so he said, I got this one. Called Jablonski off on the last second. Here's Michael Kozuski, the center fielder, 6 for 13 on the series, 5 walks, 17 plate appearances this series, 11 times reaching base. He finds a way, and he gets a called strike 1 on the fastball from the Cal Baptist product, Nathan Hemmerling. 0-1, breaks into the zone for strike 2. A called strike 2 that time. Hemmerling, a 4.46 ERA, one of the best of the starting rotation, misses inside for ball 1. And it's a big day for him personally, in his personal life. 1-2 on the ground. I'll tell you that when we come back the next time we see him, because there's out number 3. 1-2-3 inning for Nathan Hemmerling finishes out the top of the second. Still 1-0 Paddleheads when we come back on the Regulators Media Network. Bottom of the second, Regulators will try and get on base here. They didn't in the first 13 pitches. The first 3 batters retired in order by Thomas Reisinger, whose Paddleheads lead 1-0. Hemmerling getting a 1-2-3 of his own in the top of the second on just 9 pitches. Cooper Vest will lead things off, followed by Emilio Corona and Benjamin Rosengard, all of which who have had fantastic series thus far, despite the result of the fact that they've had 3 losses of the first 4 games. Cooper Vest takes outside for ball 1. On the series, he's 7 for 18. From his full, Reisinger gets Vest to swing over a breaking ball. A 1-1 count. Cooper Vest, his 3rd multi-hit game of the series yesterday. 1-1. Swing and a miss at the very same breaking ball. Now a 1-2 count. Reisinger has a 6-pitch set. 4-seam curve, we mentioned, that is his bread and butter. But he also has a slider, change, sinker, and a cutter. 1-2. In the air towards center field, but it's going to hang in time for Kazuski to settle under it for out number 1. 4 up, 4 down so far for Reisinger. Emilio Corona has attributed a lot to the homestand in this series so far. There have been 43 hits for the Long Beach Regulators. Emilio Corona on the homestand is 10 for 36 with 12 RBI and 2 home runs. Foul ball towards the on-deck circle where Benjamin Rosengard is waiting in the winds. Yesterday, Corona went 0 for 4. A rare line for him. He's had a hit in 6 of the 9 games played in this homestand so far. Fouls back. Straight back to the netting for an 0-2 count. Thomas Reisinger, over his last few starts, his last 3 starts, averaging about 5 to 6 innings of work, about 6 to 7 hits in his average total of his last 3. Another foul ball with 1 out and nobody on. He's limited runs relative to his other starters in his last 3 outings. 6 runs, 5 earned on average. But his strikeouts have been his caveat. Hard hit into deep center field. Back at the wall. Fly, baby, fly. Emilio Corona gets number 20 on the season. Welcome to the 2040 club. 43 stolen bases as well. 429 feet for the San Luis Obispo native. And it's a tie ball game at 1 apiece. His third home run on the homestand. And what a homestand. What a month of August it has been for Emilio Corona. What a homestand it's been for Benjamin Rosengard, particularly last night when he changed his walk-up song to Something Simple by Ella Langley. And then he had a 4-hit night, his very first in a Long Beach uniform. Ty Kai. Second most of all the pitching for the Paddleheads in terms of home runs allowed. 1-0 misses low on the breaking ball. 2-0 count. Rosengard was just a home run shy of the cycle last night. Got his second triple of the series. 2-0 finds the zone on a changeup with some late movement. 2-1 count for the Chicago native, who's now 7 for 15 on the series. 4 of those 7 hits, extra base hits. Popped up in the infield, third base side. Sermonelli can't see it, and perhaps not Bermudez either, but he makes the grab on the edge of the outfield grass in left field. 2 down for Spence Kaufman. Kaufman, his 10th game played now for the Long Beach Coast / Regulators. And he has had a great welcome on the homestand, 11 for 32. That's a .344 batting average. And a great first impression, not just with his bat, but also with his defense. He has earned every single start. Takes a called strike off of Reisinger. The former Red Pocket Mobile, now 3 for 9 on the series. Righty on righty matchup. Tapped on the ground, foul. Third base side for strike 2. Nobody on, 2 outs, and a new 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the second. The Mississippi native taps his bat a couple of times at home plate. Now looks on for the 0-2. Swing and a miss at the top of the zone at 92. To the third, 1-1. You're on the Regulators Media Network.
One moment.
Into the third we go, and Hemmerling gets some early run support in the second. Joey Miller, Jesse Cook, 1-1 after the Amelia Corona bomb to center field, 429 feet. Very impressive for the center fielder, who now has become the second in Long Beach Coast history to have a 20 home run season. Cuba Bass the first. He hit one last night for his 23rd. Will Bermudez gets his way into a 1-1 count. Hemmerling needing to make us talk fast because he's been working fast right now. A quick 9-pitch inning in the top of the second. Got his first 0 on the board. Now a foul ball to Bermudez, the shortstop, who on the series started 0 for 10 with 6 strikeouts until a 2-run single in the top of the 6th that finished out the 7-run rally that allowed the Paddleheads to take their first of 2 leads in last night's 12-10 victory. Hemmerling delivers, and now this one down the left field line and just foul. An emphatic foul call there by Max Ponce, who was watching it all the way up the line. So Nathan Hemmerling, and I teased this the last time he was on the mound, a pretty special moment for him with his girlfriend, his long-term girlfriend, Haley, in the crowd. It's the first time she has been able to witness her boyfriend, Nathan Hemmerling, at the professional level live. Long-distance relationship, and every time I hear Hemmerling talk about Haley, he's got a big old grin on his face.
And he's normally a pretty happy guy, but he keeps himself reserved. So for the teeth to show that much shows how excited he really is.
Well, when he's on the mound, he locks in. Bermudez, a drive into left center, and that's going to leave the yard. The lead back for the Paddleheads. Bermudez gets a big response home run, his second hit of the series. Leadoff home run brings back the leadoff man, Enzo Apodaca. 2-1 Paddleheads. That one went 390 off the bat. It seems to be a very back and forth game like it was last night in the early go-arounds. Nick Bautista receiving consistent run support, but then after the 5th inning, it seemed like the Paddleheads were keeping pace, including on a couple of home runs by Nick Klemp, who is in the on-deck circle, 1-1 count, now on Enzo Apodaca. Apodaca flew out to Emilio Corona, and now a line drive into right field. Gets his first base knock of this Saturday afternoon. Back-to-back hits to start off this top of the third for Hemmerling. And now his 2-year teammate Johnny Pappas is going to have some words with the reigning pitcher of the week in the Pioneer League.
Well, something that Hemmerling did much more before this past week was surrender hits and work out of jams. 5 hits against Glacier across 7 innings. That's pretty good. But before that, 7 hits over 5 in Ogden. He also had a couple games where he allowed 7 and 8 over a 3-week stretch against Oakland, Yuba Sutter, and Modesto from the end of June to beginning of July. And remember, Long Beach won a game, the second ever home contest, with Hemmerling allowing 11 hits over just 2 2/3 innings. The offense rallying back to support him.
Here's the first pitch to Klemp, right back to Hemmerling, who's going to throw on to second. Kaufman steps on the bag, gets it to first, clears up the bases on a 1-6-3 double play. That's the 9th double play of this series. Usually the pitchers get to trust their defense when they wear a Long Beach uniform. This time it's Hemmerling who starts off his own defense. 2 outs. Bryce Sermonelli up to the plate. Takes outside for ball 1 on the changeup. Sermonelli on the first pitch offered and sent one towards Corona for out number 2 in the first. Now gets strike number 1 of a 1-1 count. 1-1, tapped foul, left side. Off the Steve Traxel bullpen. Eddie Pelk collects it and tosses it over into the pen. The pen for Missoula has been up and down, but it's been one guy who has been untouchable. That's Matthew Taubensee, who they hope to not see tonight. Ground ball to the left side, and Rosengard gets it over to Cooper Vest for out number 3. So the response home run by Will Bermudez. 2-1 Paddleheads, some work to do in the bottom of the third when we come back on the Regulators Media Network. We head into the bottom of the third, and some more work to be done to help out Nathan Hemmerling, who gives up the second lead for the Missoula Paddleheads, and it was just on one swing. But outside of that, a pretty clean inning. Gave up a hit, got himself a double play that was started by Nathan Hemmerling, and then got the third out on the fourth batter faced. Jacob Jablonski is going to try and help out his teammate of yesteryear and this year. Swing and a miss for strike 1 by Jacob Jablonski, the switch hitter, second baseman. 4 hits in this series, 2 yesterday, including an RBI. 0-1 to Jablonski, slaps it to the right side, up the first base line, just foul. Casarilla tried to get it in fair territory, but it curved outward towards the square rubber base. 0-2 count on Jacob Jablonski, who had 3 hits last week. So after last night, he has surpassed what happened in the first week of this homestand. Jablonski confidently steps into the left-handed side of the batter's box and takes high and outside for ball 1. He'll be followed by the 9-spot Johnny Pappas, and then back to the top of the lineup. 1-2. Fastball taken outside, and Gutierrez thought he had him. Not so much, said Pete Saucedo. That did, in fact, miss outside. They don't decide to challenge. Last night we saw a lot of challenges. 9 for the visiting Paddleheads, 8 of them successful. Slapped ground ball right side, diving stop by Ball, but he can't get the throw off in time. It's an infield single for Jacob Jablonski, his 5th on the week.
Well, we've seen some pretty expert defense from both these teams making diving plays like that, so for Michael Ball to get to that is definitely an impressive play, but Long Beach hustles out of the box. That is a common trend for this team.
Sure is. And Jablonski happy that he is starting to look like himself again after a bit of a rough go-around in the first week of this homestand. This team will need him down the playoff stretch. His defense as well as his bat. Johnny Pappas is no different. Shows bunt, pulls back for ball one. Johnny Pappas, who came into this ball club about halfway through June, or in June, to replace Thomas McCaffrey, who was the opening day starting catcher, and he was supposed to be the everyday catcher. Johnny Pappas, who thought he was retired, was called out of retirement. Since then has been a main fixture of getting that first half pennant.
Well, you can't buy trust. Johnny Pappas built it in Idaho Falls with these guys, and having him back provides such an extra layer of comfort for the pitching staff. Jablonski off at first, 2-0. Bunted up the first baseline, a beautiful one. Pappas accepts a tag to his chest. The successful sacrifice bunt gets Jablonski to second. Now a runner in scoring position, the tying run in scoring position. Eddie Pelk, no stranger to the on-base percentage being as high as above 500 for most of this season, courtesy of having over 100 hits and 100 walks. First pitch misses outside for ball one. Grounded out to the second baseman his first time up. Reisinger comes set. Just gave up his second hit of the game to lead things off here in this bottom of the third. Pitch misses outside for ball two. Pelk is a guy you have to pitch to, as is proven by the fact that he owns the all-time single-season walks record. He's going to find a pitch that he wants to hit. 2-0, he does find one that he wants to hit. Gets it into right field. Jablonski gets the stop sign. Quick throw in from Apodaca, and a good call there by hitting coach Troy Gloss. Now runners at the corners. Well, I'm not sure if it's something that Gloss noticed on his own or if it's instinct, but these Missoula outfielders have fantastic arms, and even more important than how fast they get the ball to the plate, they're accurate. So it's very important that Long Beach plays it conservatively in a series where they have had a couple runners cut down at the plate going for extra bases, and a series where they have stranded runners because other base running mistakes ended up with greedy outlooks. Now Matthew Bardwell, who played the clutch man last night, has a chance to tie up the game with just one swing of his bat. Gets a called strike, and even if he puts a charge into it and it stays in the friendly confines, it could still get the job done with one out. Righty on righty matchup for the Fontana native at the plate. 0-1 on the ground to the shortstop. He boots it, and the run comes across on the error. 2-all. Regulators get back into this one. Now the go-ahead run at second. Bardwell aboard on the mistake, the first one on the night for the Paddleheads defense. Still going to be an RBI, though, for Bardwell. Pelk, now a speedy lead runner, but if Cuba Best can do what he did last night, he might not need to run. He might just need to jog the 180 feet that he needs to get to home plate. Cuba Best takes the first pitch outside for ball one. Well, the way the middle part of this order has played over the last, day really inspires a lot of confidence for a Long Beach team that started the week struggling at the plate. Best ended the first inning on a ground out, nubs one, foul, towards the Paddleheads dugout. This is the first time the Paddleheads come to the Southern California region. They might come back next year, not just at Blair Field, but with the new team in Irvine, which I'm excited to hear what their name is going to be. The 2026 campaign.
Here's a ball into right field, but it's going to stay in the yard. Eddie Pelk tags up. Apodaca gets it in, gets away from ball for a brief second, but nice backup there by Bermudez. A productive out number 2. Brings up Cooper Vest with runners at the corners now. Bardwell stays put at first. And Cooper Vest is going to look to start something here. Vest already with a pair of RBI in this series. The Utah native holds his bat out in front of him. First pitch to Vest misses outside for ball 1. Good take there to start things off and let Reisinger know that he needs to come inside to this lefty. Reisinger looks over at Pelk at third. Pitch hit into left center, but it's going to hang in the air for Yukamoto and leave the 2 stranded. But still a run of support for Nathan Hemmerling in back-to-back innings heading into the 4th. It is now 2-all, and Jesse Cook's going to take you through these middle 3 when we come back on the Regulators Media Network.
Top of the 4th inning on the way, tied up at 2-2. The righty Nathan Hemmerling fires the first pitch to Xavier Casarilla, who watches a curveball down by his ankles for ball 1. Welcome back to Blair Field, Long Beach, California. The Regulators in the field. Nathan Hemmerling deals again to the righty Casarilla, who watches again, but this time the curveball hits for a strike, lone away. Jesse Cook with you on the mic. Joey Miller to my right in his 200th professional broadcast.
Ah, shucks.
1-1, misses outside and low, 2-1 count. Now, broadcast 199 ended because Xavier Casarilla struck through with a 2-run double to win it for Missoula. 2-1, he cuts and fouls it over the right side, 2-2 count. But now in the big 2-hundo, Joey, Long Beach has put through some offense.
They have, and consistent ones at that. Now in back-to-back nights, getting back-to-back innings with a run of support for their starter.
2-2, flown out to deep right field. Matthew Bardwell feeling for the wall in front of the track. He makes the catch. Bardwell tracks that one down. 2-2, your score. 1 away, top 4. And now 1 away for Tai Yukamoto. He grounded out to second last time up. Nathan Hemmerling trying to match Jack Martin for the team lead in wins at 7. Hemmerling 6-0 as we speak. He turns on home to the lefty, who keeps his bright red bat in check on the fastball down by his shins for a 1-0 count. Yukamoto entered this game with a .336 batting average. Out of the windup, he cuts, ropes it to second. Jablonski leaps it over his head into right field. Base hit for Yukimoto. He is one of 8 qualifying players on the Missoula roster with a batting average of at least 300. Qualifying meaning 75 at-bats on the season. There are 14 players in total who, regardless of the length of their tenure as a paddlehead, have reached up above that. 1 on, 1 out. 2-2 ball game, top of the 4th inning. Another man coming up on the left side for Nathan Hemmerling, the switch-hitting catcher, Sergio Gutierrez. He struck out swinging his first time up. Hemmerling crouches, first pitch, a heater that misses off the belt at 90 miles per hour. It's called a ball, but the Regulators engaged their first Red Puck Immobile ABS strike zone challenge. Catcher Johnny Pappas signaling this appeal. And public address announcer August McAdoo tells everyone at Blair Field that that pitch is overturned from ball to strike. A successful challenge for Long Beach. 0-1 count for Gutierrez. Hemmerling throws over to first, and back in standing is Yukimoto.
That's only the 3rd successful challenge for Long Beach in this series, by the way. They have not been very successful on the challenges in the first 4 games.
Definitely struggling with the contest. Next pitch down by the ankles. 1-1 count as the bender misses. Yukimoto taking a greedy lead off of first base. The native to Hawaii is 18 for 20 on stolen base attempts this season. He's about 4 steps off the bag. Make it 5 now as he creeps further. Hemmerling staring home. Here he goes. Gutierrez watches. The curveball lands down the middle for a strike. 1-2 count. Gutierrez on his 3rd team of 2026, his 3rd total indie ball team. Signed by the Diamondbacks at 17 years old. Played in their system until 2023. Joining the Florence Yalls of the Frontier League after that. The Lexington Legends in 2025, and then splitting this year between the 2 Kentucky teams, the Yalls and the Legends, before coming out to Missoula. 1-2. He lunges and laces a shallow fly ball into center field. Emilio Corona waiting up for it. 2 hands up. He makes the catch. 2 away. Runner on first. Tied up at 2-2 in the top of the 4th inning.
And you see that type of swing there. Sergio Gutierrez tried to get contact, just a contact swing, but extended his hands out too far. No power in that swing. He just let the bat get under it and allow himself to get out number 2 of this inning.
Well, for Gutierrez, that was also a protection swing. It was a 2-strike count, so just trying to make contact, but still it ends up positively for the LBC. Righty to righty with Michael Ball at the plate. He watches. Fastball lands for a strike, high and away. Correction, slider lands for a strike, high and away. Ball, a 3-0-2 hitter entering this game. On his toes in an open stance on the right side. Hemmerling kicks high. Swing and a slow roller out to second. Jablonski has it, shoveling to the Keystone base for out number 3. Spence Kaufman gripping that one on second. We move on to the bottom of the 4th inning. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Long Beach. And Emilio Corona, who homered last time up, followed by Benjamin Rosengard and Spence Kaufman. We move on, and a tie game on the Long Beach Baseball Network. Bottom of the 4th inning on the way at Blair Field, and Long Beach playing in a tied game. First time batting with the score evened up, at least starting the inning with the score even. Emilio Corona responsible for the first run for the hometown crew. The Regulators center fielder homering in the 2nd inning. He faces off against the right-hander Thomas Reisinger. It's Corona followed by Benjamin Rosengard and Spence Kaufman, 5, 6, and 7 in the order. Tan glove in front of the eyes for Reisinger. He winds on home. Corona swings hard and misses over the 90-mile-per-hour fastball. 0-1 count. Reisinger, a fastball dominant pitcher. Talked about that earlier, how that might end up helping Long Beach, a team that has struggled to hit the curve over the last week and a half since returning from the mountain region. Reisinger kicks up high. Corona swings and loops it foul. Right side and out of play.
Well, yes, you are right, the curve, but also the slower fastballs that have a little bit of movement. When you don't have a fastball that reaches 90 at this level, it has to have some sharp movement. That's what we've seen in the first 4 starters of this series.
Most of them biting away from same-side batters. So Reisinger's fastball moving away from righties. 0-2, misses up high. 1-2 count for Corona. That home run catapulting him into the 2040 club, although, you know, the 2050 club might be within reach for him. 43 total stolen bases on the year with still 13 games left to play after today. 1-2, misses outside. It's a 2-2 count. So you're asking him to steal a base every 2 days, but given that he's had multiple occasions where he's stolen 3 or even the team record 4, it's not out of reach. Reisinger turns in again, his 2-2. Corona swings and keeps himself afloat, fouling it over the back netting.
He's also just 3 shy of entering the top 5 in a single season stolen base record. That was set by Julian Boyd of the Grand Junction Jackalopes in 2024.
Well, Corona within grasp of history. Open stance at the back of the righty box. 2-2 from the windup. Again, he fouls it off.
But every year in the Pioneer League, at least from about 2022 to 2024, it seemed like the record was meant to be broken every single season. It was Cam Feltz, and then it was Peyton Robertson. Dave Matthews also challenged. 64 is now the record for a single season.
Well, it just keeps on going. That's the point of records. They're made to be broken. 2-2. Corona watches that one high and outside, and after starting out 0-2, Corona is 1 ball away from moving himself aboard. That'd be trouble for Missoula, putting the league leader in steals on base with nobody ahead of him. The 6'3 right-hander turns on home. Corona stares at the slider that drops in for strike 3, low and away. Well, the San Luis Obispo native fights his way into a full count. But after that valiant battle, he's sent back to the dugout. Here's Benjamin Rosengard digging in on the left side. He popped out to short last time up, but oh boy, did he have a fantastic day yesterday. 4 for 5, 2 singles, a double, and a triple. Reisinger, glove at his chin. He flips home. Rosengard dances out of the way. Heater off the belt, 1-0 count. The shadows here at Blair Field creeping over home plate and bisecting Rosengard. 1-0. Sails high and outside. 2-0 count. And Benjamin Rosengard, newly qualifying in season stats. He needs 75 at-bats on the year in the Pioneer League to earn any sort of recognition for what you do. And Rosengard just got there yesterday. 2-0. Waits on it. The fastball called a ball high and outside. 3-0 count.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that, by the way, on Rosengard getting 75 at-bats, because when the record book was being made, we called it the Rosengard rule. Last year, 463 batting average.
3-0. That batting average stays where it is at a team best 372 with ball 4 missing low and outside. So 372 at the moment, but again, last year, the Pioneer League record, 463. I don't care how many games you're playing in. If you have a sizable number of at-bats under your belt and your batting average is above 400, there's not much anyone can do to take away the feeling that must bring.
and he was unstoppable last year. You talked about his 4-hit night last night. Well, he had 6 4+ hit games last year with the Idaho Falls Chuckers.
Well, now trying to follow up is Spence Kaufman. 2-2 ball game, 1 out, 1 on, bottom 4. Make sure you stay tuned for the 5th inning, by the way. We'll have our Cook quiz, and we're thinking about the Little League World Series for this one today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Spence Kaufman, last time up, struck out swinging, did so on 3 pitches, but taking into account his start to the year with the Mobiles, Kaufman himself has worked a couple 4-hit games, 2 4-hit finishes, 1 5-hit ball game. That gives him a total of 25 multi-knock affairs on the season as a whole. Traded from the Mobiles a week ago Monday. Righty-righty affair, Rosengard on first. Next pitch. Runs inside, skips away from Gutierrez. Rosengard moving for second. The off-balance throw to second, much too late. Pass ball on Gutierrez moves Rosengard into scoring position. Rosengard caught stealing yesterday. Today, spots the Pearl roll out of the mitten. Makes a break for it. Runner on second now. 1 out. Bottom 4 tied up. 1-0. Kaufman stares at the curveball up high. Eye level, it's a 2-0 count. That is 6 straight pitches out of the zone from Reisinger. Here he goes. Make it 7. That's inside off the thighs. Three and 0. Reisinger has issued just the 1 walk so far to Rosengard. He's in danger of a pair now. Low leg kick. Kaufman winces out of the way as that one lands for ball 4 high and inside. It's back-to-back walks to bring up switch-hitting Jacob Jablonski, digging in on the left side. And here comes a mound visit. Missoula's catcher, Sergio Gutierrez, joined by Easton Barnes, the pitching coach. And reflecting on Reisinger's last appearance, he does not issue a ton of walks. He only surrendered 1 free pass in that last game. In fact,
yeah, he does limit walks and has drawn out his experience. Recently, his 3rd most recent outing, he had 8 innings pitched, 3 walks allowed, but that still averages out to just about 2 to 3 walks per game, where he averages about 5 to 6 innings pitched per. So that's still a positive innings pitched to walks ratio.
And that's over the last
the last 3.
Well, and on the season, he only has dealt 31 walks in 77 2/3 innings. So even this last stretch is a ramp up for him, despite the fact that it's been quite productive. 2-2, your score, bottom 4. Long Beach at the plate, runners on first and second. Switch hitter at the dish on the left side. Righty on the mound. Curly blonde hair, peeking out from under the hat. His first pitch, Jablonski cuts and fouls it to the right side. 0-1 count. Jacob Jablonski worked his way aboard on an infield hit last time up. He sent second baseman Michael Ball sprawling onto the early outfield grass just to keep it in play. 0-1. Curveball misses its spot, low and outside. The Pennsylvania native on the mound, Reisinger, a 10th round pick of the A's in 2023. First Pioneer League season.